Alright guys, good morning. We're back at it. Got my clothes to get dirty and get some work done here. Today we're going to take apart the forks on the 96 CR, which are KYBs. I don't know the specific model, but I'll see if I can find that out and put that in the description. But they're all pretty similar of how they're constructed. So we'll go ahead and do that. I have them cleaned up, and I'll show you the tools of what we need to take them apart. There are some specialty tools that you're supposed to use, but I'll show you some ways around it if you're taking the forks completely apart. And yeah, we'll go from there. Let's get started. All right, well, here's the tools that you're definitely going to need. A couple flat blade screwdrivers, 14mm Allen for the bottom bolt. This is a 19, I think, for... Yeah, this is a 19 for the top. Then there's a nut that's inside the rod here that you need to hold with a 17mm. So that's it. We'll go ahead and get started. I do have the factory instructions, which I typically follow to a T, other than the part where you need a tool to remove the bottom part here if you're doing a complete disassembly. Otherwise, you don't need to take this bottom section off to do fork seals. But yeah, we'll get started here, and should be fairly straightforward. Okay, well, this bike is new to me, so the settings don't really matter, but we're gonna back the settings out of the adjusters, which is one in here as well, all the way back out. But if you're happy with your settings, then go ahead and count your clicks. But we just back them out until they stop. You can hear each click. And you don't want to force the last one. You'll know when it stops. Okay, there's that. And we'll do the one that's right in the Allen. Now the goal here for me personally is, I don't know how this bike feels, so I'm going to leave it on stock settings. And once I start riding it, I'll get a feel if I need more spring, more compression, more rebound, and see where I end up being at. All right, we'll go ahead and take the cap off. You just want to loosen it slowly, and when the cap comes off, the spring's not going to shoot it out 100 miles an hour. It'll be loose by the time it comes out. Okay, it's pretty loose now, so. Okay, I'll turn the camera here a little bit. Just so you can see that it doesn't fling off, so. Yeah, there we go. So let me lower this down a little bit so we could do this right. Okay, so now we gotta take this top off, and if you look inside, there's a nut here, and the spring comes down pretty easy actually. So it's just a matter of putting a wrench on that bottom part, and she'll come down. There we go. All right, so now we can spin the rest off here. Okay, so we got the cap in our hands. Ooh, put that to the side. I like to put things in order as they come off. We got the spring holder. So we got the spring. Then we have the dampening rod. Okay. So then we could take this this nut off. Then this slides off. Okay. And this one slides off. Okay. And there's actually a rod inside as well. Oops. There we go. Got that piece there. And then we're going to go ahead and dump the oil. And at that point, you'll see that there's another rod in there. So you'd see a lot more oil coming out if this was properly maintained. So, okay, there's that rod I was telling you about. That could come out. We'll just pump it a few times here to get a lot of the oil out. All right, well now it's time to remove the bottom bolt here of the fork. Typically you need a tool that inserts into the chamber to lock it in, but we don't have that. So what I typically do is I put the spring back in, put the cap back on so it puts some pressure, so when we back it out, there's something trying to hold the internals. Let's see if we could take this out now. Okay, I need to put a little bit more pressure on it, I think. There we go. So we got the bottom out. Okay, we'll take the cap back off that we just put back on. Everything could come right back out at this point. Okay. Okay, now we're at the point where we're going to separate the two. This is where you guys would be if you're doing fork seals. Okay, so you got a dust seal up towards the top here, and we just got to pry that part out with the screwdriver. There we go. There's the dust shield. And if you look inside, I'm not sure if you're going to catch this, but there's a little clip that holds the seal in, and you got to get that out with a screwdriver as well. And once you see it come out, you'll kind of be able to imagine what I'm looking at. And there's going to be a little lip that lets you catch it. You just get in there with a flat blade and pry it out. Okay, there's the beginning of it. Just follow it around and it will come right out. Okay, so there's that. Then at that point, there's nothing holding it together for it to come apart, and you kind of have to use it like a sledgehammer at this point to pull the seal out. There she is. Okay, so there's your seal. Okay, the next part we got to do is take off this this little clip here. It kind of helps the plastic not rub against the fork. Don't really have to take this part out. It's just a little clip there. Okay, just so we have full disassembly of everything. And then we have a bushing here that needs to come out, and there should be a split in it. So what you want to do is pry that open just to get some a gap. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and replace these. These are a normal wear item. get the seals and the bushings. Okay, actually doesn't look too bad. Then we have the other bushing here. That comes out. That's actually not too bad as well. We're gonna go ahead and replace it anyways. Then we have the seal. Actually, we have a washer. Then the seal. Then we have that clip I was telling you about that holds the seal in place so your forks don't overextend. And then we have our dust shield, which will be replaced as well. So during this process, we want to take a good look at our forks here and see if we could feel anything. There is some marks here that, you know, just from wear and tear, but you can't really feel them, so I'm not too concerned about them. But overall, it's not too bad. I'm okay with reusing this. But if you had any nicks or anything like that, you'd probably want to, you know, polish it down so you can't feel it. And we could take a look at these here, and everything looks pretty good here. You know, there is some wear and tear on the outside, but there's no dents to speak of. So, you know, if I was going to do a full restoration, I'd get these refinished. But for what I'm going to look to do with this bike is just get it up and going at this point. And then we have O-rings that we got to replace. There's one on the bottom, and there's one on the top on the cap as well. So we'll go ahead and replace all that as well. All right, we got it all apart here. I inspected everything. There's one thing I'm a little bit concerned about, is that there's a little bit of rust right in this rod here. I'll try to sand it down and see what I come up with, but I would imagine that buying this assembly is probably one of the more expensive parts of the fork. But I will take a look, but most likely I'll just polish this off and do the best job I can to sand it down and make it smooth. But that's a complete assembly. As I mentioned before, you know, you don't have to take off this bottom portion here if you're just doing fork seals. But yeah, everything else looks all right, you know, given how old it is. So you could tell that it was a little bit neglected. There should have been way more oil in there. So, but that's it. So if you guys have any questions about the process, you know, I might have gone a little fast on there, but if you have any questions, just let me know and I'll do my best to answer them, or even do another little short video on anything specific. But yeah, so once I get a few of these assemblies apart, as far as like the shock, the forks, and some other stuff, I'm gonna try to order, you know, a bulk of parts so I don't have to pay a lot in shipping. So that's why you're not seeing these being reassembled just yet. Probably in 2 weeks. I'll probably order the parts this weekend so I have them next weekend. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. All right, bye.